Hey guys, what is up? Zeros35, and today I'm going to be showing you what you can expect from a raid if you are raiding in the clan OS Immortals. Obviously this is a solo 400, but usually we do around 350s. If we have more experienced players with better gear, we'll be doing 400s as well. This isn't the exact order, because when I'm in a solo, I like to go ahead and get Baba out of the way early. But if we're in a group, we usually start with Zebak, because everyone's pre-potted for range, and it just works better that way. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my supplies here. I'm going to assume that if you're watching this video, you probably know a little bit about TOA, so it's not going to be as much of a guide. I do have a 270 invocation guide if you want to go ahead and watch that, but it's a little outdated. So we're going to go ahead and take care of these first few rounds here. Nice and simple, good room to get your, warm-ups in for clicking and switches and all that stuff. Wherever these skulls are, depending on pillars or vents, or if you're in a group, even DD, which means to line up on tile on top of each other. As you can see, I have those two tiles marked in the middle, and that's where we would be DDing if we were in a group for this one. Some of the invocations on for this raid are fast boulders from Baba. If you take damage, it will reduce your prayer by 5% of that damage. We have the 40-minute time limit on. For a 400, we have Insanity on. And we have Walk the Path on, so as we go through the rooms will level up higher. The thralls, as you can see, I'm kind of clearing them out. They will drain your prayer as they hit you, so you kind of want to get rid of them. This is the last round where we're going to have majors or rangers. Other than one other round, we'll have 8 rangers. So now that we've taken care of that, we can go ahead and just protect melee and keep it on for most of the time. You want to be careful not to get dragged, because those things will just drag you into the venom. As for gear and supplies, obviously bring in with what you're comfortable. This is my supply and gear. I do a 6-way switch for most of my switches. If you look in the overview tab in the clan's Discord, you can also see the best in slot and recommended inventories. But obviously, if you're new, bring more brews. If you feel like you never use any of them, then you can bring less and bring more switches. For melee, I have a Justiciar place body. And that's just because currently my money is tied up in the shadow, so I don't have the money for a Torva plate body, and I can't stand how the Bandos chest plate looks with Torva, so it's only a 0.3 DPS less than the Torva, so it's really not that big of a deal. Obviously, if you have a Torva plate body, go ahead and use it. Usually, if you're in a group, you'll have Salt by this point, so you won't have to worry about using your Divine Super Combat and then Blood Barraging, but since I'm in a solo, I brought that, and I'm just going to heal up after using it. And that's the first puzzle room done. We go ahead and drop a brew. That way we have room to switch to our blowpipe later on. Go with the BGS specs. One of them hit big, which is all that we need. And then from here, you're just going to keep on protect melee and just poke the boss and avoid those falling boulders. You want to stay close to these boulders that are on the ground, because when you're in a solo, they can do a good amount of damage. If you're in a group, you want to make sure, like, if there's 4 people, you want to have 2 on each boulder. If there's 3 people, one of the boulders will be damaged, so you want to make sure that we have 1 person on the damaged and 2 on the full health. A Blood Fury really helps in this room, makes it so you don't have to use many supplies. Sometimes you get unlucky and don't get it at all, but we run Mind the Gap, which is why you see me standing on the side there. At 66% and at 33%, Bobble will knock everyone back. As long as you're not in the middle, you'll be fine. I'm gonna go through here, kind of getting unlucky with the boulder spawns. As soon as you see that XP drop, you can go through and skip a couple of these phases if you need to. If we're in a group, just assume that someone will do it. Just be ready. You'll notice my positioning with Baba. I like to be on the corners often of his, like, what is it, 5x5 square. Because when he does his shadow attack, all you have to do is run to the next corner and you're completely out of the way of it. I also like to do this when I'm positioning for the rocks, that way so he doesn't throw a rock at me and do a shadow at the same time. So as you can see, he does a shadow here, clip to the other corner, and we're safe. Taking a bit of damage, but we're getting close to phasing him. Obviously, if this is the last room, just go ahead and use as many supplies as you want, especially if you have salts. But here, where I don't have a salt, and I need to make this divine last, we're going to go ahead and get our blowpipes back, and just... You'll always max hit on these rocks, as long as you're not brute down, so... It's free HP. I could run up and do this, but I think I'm just going to wait until I can get one more blowpipes back off. Easy enough, and Blood Fury puts us back high. Baboon spawns, we're going to go ahead and take care of these, that way so we don't have the sarcophagi breaking open. Sometimes you get a Blood Fury heal off them as well. Go ahead and pick this up, just to save time. The room's over. Go to this corner, that way so I don't get rock thrown at me and shadow. One more hit should do it, and there we go. First room in a 400 raid out of the way. If you didn't pick up your dropped potion, make sure you go back and pick that up. Next up, even if you're in a group or in a solo, we always do Kephri second. This room is extremely easy, similar to Zarpus in Theater of Blood, where you really shouldn't be using any supplies other than maybe a super restore sip or two. When I'm in a solo, I like to avoid doing the obelisk puzzle because it's just random, it wastes your run energy, and it takes the longest. If you're using Runelight and you have the Tombs of Amascut plugin, you'll see all these little squares that it marks coming up here soon. It makes all these puzzles super easy. And Runelight plugins are Jagex approved, so you don't have to worry about that at all. Gonna go ahead and just reveal 4 of these. Run back and forth, just match them up. Super easy. This puzzle room shouldn't take you more than a minute. We're gonna go ahead and try to spot Kephri. First one's a miss. Second one's a miss. Unfortunate, but not the end of the world. For solos, I like to go ahead and trap the meleeer, so I'm gonna stand right here to get a nice straight line. If you're in a group, most likely we will stand in the southwest corner and just create one diagonal with the 2 people. In a group, the fly order goes off of the orbs. So if you have 4 people, the first 2 orbs will be the first 2 up. Just gonna get rid of this 1 egg here just because it's in my way. Don't want to take any damage from it. Using the fang, sometimes you can get 2 hits in before you have to move. Flies popped up again, so we're gonna go back here. The reason we're not doing a diagonal is because we don't want to trap the ranger. Having to use mage or range on the ranger is very slow. If you ever need to heal, you can always blood barrage the agile scarabs once they start to clump up, because they will. But for now, we're going to avoid that egg and just start hitting the ranger. As soon as we kill him, we're going to switch to melee. In a group setting, we're going to go ahead and kill the meleeer first and just ignore the ranger. If you have a large group, you can send 2 people to blow pipe the scarabs. That way so the boss doesn't heal as much and this phase goes by much faster. There we go. Switch back to range. We're going to get ready to do the other pile to trap the meleeer. Go ahead and get that straight line again. Make sure not to get trapped in there. For nearly this entire raid, as long as you keep your prayer high, you keep your health high, you should be fine. There's very little chances for you to get stacked out, if you know what you're doing. Use some of the fang specs here. So for the second round, we're going to go ahead and attack the major first, because if those red specs that we're charging up around him, if they make a full square, they will do around 50 to 60 damage through Mage Protect, or I'm pretty sure it's around like 80 damage if you're not protecting Mage, so always focus that one first. Then go ahead, if you didn't trap the meleeer, deal with the meleeer, and then last, the ranger. In my solos, I've actually found out that I can just out DPS the meleeer because he heals the boss for 7 occasionally. And it is theorized, we'll find out coming out soon, but it is theorized that the more damage you do in the raid, the more points you get, which is possible. For a purple, kind of like how it is in Chambers, so I figured I can out DPS him while also getting more damage in the raid, so might as well just leave him alive and ignore him. Save the time of having to kill him. I could be wrong, that's just my thought process for the solos. Usually in a group we just kill him and don't even have to worry about it. If you get caught in the middle like that, just try to spam click out of there. It doesn't really matter which side you get pushed to. Either side will do. I enjoy having the option to be in one of the corners. Just makes it easier. Just keep poking away at the boss. This is the final phase. You'll have 3 shield phases, and then this final phase, and then you're done. And there we go. That's the second boss done, and you are almost halfway through a 400 raid. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take power. You should have plenty of supplies. If you really need to, or if something went wrong, you can take chaos. Go ahead and grab pickaxe. So this is where you have to start paying to the room levels. As you can see, Akkha is level 2, and the only thing that means is that he's going to do a little bit more damage, has more health. But then on his memory phase, for every 2 levels, we're going to add 1 more extra memory. So the level 0 memory is just 4. This one will be 5. If he was to somehow get to a level 4, it would be 6. But that should never happen in group raids that we usually do. If I was a bit faster with that, if you have 85 mining, or if you have 82 with the dragon pick spec, you can 1 down this, but I didn't set it up right, so we're just going to go ahead and get a 2 down on this one. Usually in a group, if you have enough people with high mining, you can get it down in 1. Start off, we're going to go ahead and just kind of kite Akkha around the room. If you have someone who really wants to be efficient, they can do the butterfly method, but that is a whole lot of work, and I've deleted my tiles since then. I'm not even going to bother with it. Once we get the shadows down at 80%, just going to keep kiting around. Everyone else who is in the group raid can just stand in the middle, avoiding him and attacking as well. But at Akkha, for Akkha, it's at 80, 60, 40, and 20 that you'll have to attack the shadows. At this point, I'm just kind of running around just to space out his melee attack so I'm not taking as much damage. But you could also just stand still. He really doesn't do that much. So here's his memory. Because we're level 2, we're going to do 5. And they are fast. So as soon as you see the color stop, go. I go off of noise for when the explosion noise kind of goes off. That's my click. Red switch. Stay vigilant is on, so he will randomly switch. And just like that. But it is always in the same order, so you will always be maging, and then meleeing, and then raging. Black orbs is a spec that just basically says don't move. If anyone is underneath you, don't move, just sit in range. If he's in melee phase, just stand there and wait till it ends, because you could possibly kill a teammate if you run out from under them. If you're gonna solo, really try to avoid brewing, that way so you can get those shadows down, because those are kind of a DPS check. Again, we have 5 memory. Keep prayer high, keep health high. Whatever quadrant he is vulnerable in, make sure you stay in that one so you don't get hit by the shadow spec. If for any reason you were going to fail a DPS check, it is recommended to run into either the lightning or the ice quadrants because they do the least amount of damage and they don't burn you for extra damage like fire and shadow do. I'm gonna go ahead and attack the shadow. Another memory phase. And go ahead and switch to the range. If you need to, you can use your blowpipe specs for health. I used one earlier, but I also have the light bar on, so my spec will recharge faster, but I like to save the fang specs for the very end phase. Should be the last shadow, so we're going to switch to mage and take care of that. Take my protection prayers down just to save a little bit of prayer in between these phases. Cutting it a little close to the DPS. I think I'm actually going to get hit here. Yep. Just going to go ahead and heal up. The Blood Fury can heal up a bit more. But we are going to be entering the orb phase here soon, so when you go into the orb phase, I really prefer to have above 99 HP because of how easy it is to get stacked out. We're going to move towards the center of the room to start orb phase. And there we go. We're going to start orb phase off, put redemption and piety on. We're going to start off by fang specking 3 times, and then he'll teleport. In a group, you don't have to worry about dodging these as much, but in a solo, it is very helpful if you can. In a solo, you'll get 3 hits. In a group, you usually just get 1 hit per person before he teleports away. Is that one more hit? Should do it. There we go. Probably the hardest room, but very doable. And last up is a level 1 Zebak room. Very easy. Prayer supplies are looking a little low, so I might do some flicking, but it's very lazy flicking. It's nothing too complicated. If you have a T-bow, or if you use the bow of Fardenheim, those are usually better. The bow isn't better than the staff, but it's just easier to use. But since I'm using the staff here, I took off my prims just for that extra magic accuracy because his magic defense is pretty high. Just gonna get that one water. We're just gonna sit here and wait for this croc to show up. Freeze it just in case, but we just hit all its health. We're gonna go through. Try to avoid damage where necessary. And easy puzzle room. Should only take you about a minute. If you mess up, maybe a minute and a half. Go ahead and use the other half of the smelling salt. If you happen to only get one salt, just use the salt for Akkha and then save the other half for Warden. The salt from Akkha should be running out about now. But it's not like an overload where it takes away the boost. It'll keep the boost, so as long as you don't brew down or anything, you'll still be at around 124 for this fight. Upset stomach is on, so there's going to be more poison, and those jugs are not going to get rid of as much poison. But other than that, this room is pretty basic since it's at level 1. He doesn't attack very fast, and the waves are... you have plenty of space to run to. Like I said earlier, keep your prayer high, keep your health high. This should be easy. When you see a blood barrage come off of his feet, you can go ahead and switch to mage. And then switch back to range if you need to, but he's obviously maging right now. This here is the rock phase. If you're using a staff, it's extremely slow, so I just switch my blowpipe just to make it. If you somehow mess this up, run to the back of the room and just start spamming brews. Usually you can survive it. In a group, it's a bit harder to survive. So that time, that was his third blood barrage attack in a row, which means he's going to spawn bloods rather than doing an actual attack. So switching your prayer does not change anything there. We're just going to keep moving to avoid those, and then they die off. You don't have to worry about them at all, as long as you don't get hit by them. The waves are going to wash away a good amount of poison, which is always nice. You'll see that yellow tile marked in the very back. That is the max range for T-bow, crystal bow, and for the staff. So anything past there you might get dragged, so just be careful if a wave is back there and you have to run to it. We have plenty of prayer here, so I'll start clicking just a little. But I think we should be fine. Blood barrage, and then switch back to range. Do keep in mind that if you get hit because of the deadly prayers invocation that we have on, it will take away 5% of your prayer, so you want to keep that high just in case you mess up a prayer, because if you get smited, you're going to get hit for probably another 40. The blood barrages, if you miss them, they only do about 12 damage, so they're not that big of a deal. If you feel like you can't get the timing down, I would focus on the projectiles that he shoots out rather than the blood barrage. The blood spawns, we're just gonna focus on our prayers, move and attack. Just stay away from him. I have him tagged because if you run directly touching the square that he is tagged in, he can melee you for probably 80 plus damage, so you're best to just stay out of melee range. And there we go. We're going to go ahead and get our inventory all set up. We're going to go ahead and grab life. Make sure you have a blue potion. Make sure you have your white potions and salts. I like to drink a brew, that way so I'm above 99. Take the boots off since I'm using the staff. Just a little bit more accuracy. We're going to go and start. When you're raiding with us, we prefer to do the Zebak and Baba Wardens, so one person's going to take over here. The reason we do Zebak is because you can react to it, as we're Akkha. Yes, you can keep track of it and predict it, but with Stay Vigilant, Aerial Assault, Akkha and Kephri just gets chaotic. And if you don't keep track of it, even if you change your prayer, when you see it midair, you're still getting hit. So this fight is pretty normal. Avoid red pyramids, avoid yellow pyramids, and then you have the first orbs you want to spread out if you're in a group. If you're in a solo, it doesn't really matter, but... And then the second orbs, if you're in a group, you would DD, but... If you're in a solo, you can just stand here. The second orb should do about 38 damage. Just keep your health kind of high. Yellow pyramids. Try not to brew until you get past the yellow pyramids. That's when you start brewing again. Just so. You can either use the resupply option or you can use the withdrawal one to keep getting more brews. So when you're raiding with us in a group, and this is all really good for solo, you want to have this tile marked right here. And I will show you exactly why. So we're going to heal up, we're going to get our prayer up. We're going to start maging the Warden. Standing on this tile, we're going to run 2 tiles diagonally backwards. This is going to lure the Warden out, so he's right there. And we are 1 tile diagonally from him. Standing here, when the fan comes up, allows you to move 1 tile just to avoid the whole special attack, and then you can just move back. Good. And then move back. And you only have to do that twice, so this third fan coming up, I don't need to move at all. Drink a blue potion, switch all the way to your DDS, and then if you lured the Warden correctly, the core should fall right in front of you, and you shouldn't lose any ticks. You should get 5 DDS specs and 1 BGS smack in. Now we're going to go ahead and switch to range gear. And we're just going to repeat the process. The only thing different about this phase is that he might shoot out a projectile that will freeze you in your place. You just want to move out of the way. That when you see it. For yellow skulls, you can stand in a cardinal direction 1 to 2 squares away from them. And that will keep you safe, you won't get damaged. There's the projectile, dodge that, just go back to our spot. As you can see, we have plenty of supplies, looking good. As long as we have our white potions, really, that's all that matters. This next phase, we're just going to walk through diagonally. Oh, never mind. Sometimes that'll happen, it's kind of dumb, but... Just switch to your DDS. And this one you can get 8 hits in and then a BGS smack. If you run out of specs, just stab with the dragon dagger or a rapier if you have it. It's not worth the stab with the fang because you'll lose a tick. BGS smack, and that's how you 2-down it. I'm going to drink a Ambrosia just to be at full health. And then this part, if you're doing a 350, you don't have Insanity, so this is slowed down. If you're doing a 400, it is Insanity. The only difference with Insanity is you have to be pretty much tick perfect on the skulls. And you have to keep track of where the boss stops, because he'll continue in that order. But if you're in a 350, he always just continues by hitting the left side first. So. By doing a 400 level raid, you're looking at about a 1 in 11 chance for drop rate is what they are theorizing. And if you're in a group, it's even better. So 400s are really good for seeing purples. 350s are still good as well. Something like a 1 in 4 chance. However, when you get to Insanity and you have a big group, if you don't have everyone with like stabs and everyone knows what they're doing, it can get a little chaotic, so you're better off just doing 300s or 350s. Gonna go ahead and one tick all the skulls. Pretty straightforward. This next phase, the skulls will come out, and the croc will come out, so they need to pray accordingly to that, just like you did in the boss fight. And then after that, it'll be the monkey. So as you can see, one tick the skulls. And just remember where he ended. If you don't remember, you can go to the middle and just react. As you can see, pretty simple. You can keep track of it or just react in the back. When you're on Insanity, the rocks will fall much faster, so you have to be aware of that. In a group especially, make sure you are standing somewhere where you're not going to screw someone else over. Just like in the rest of the raid, keep your health high, keep your prayer high, you should be fine. The last thing he hit was the left side, which means that's where we're going to start. I'm going to go ahead and one tick these. And then, which means he's going to start by hitting the right side, so we're going to start on the left side. Once you've had that last one, that's the last time you'll have to remember it, so now you can just focus on DPS, focus on dodging things. You don't have to remember where he starts or stops anymore. Now we've hit Enraged phase. This phase you just want to keep moving, focus on praying correctly, but also focus on dodging the lightning on the floor. Make sure before you attack you're pretty safe. Worry about being safe first, then attack. If you see a lightning explode on the floor, that tile will be safe for a couple seconds, so as soon as you see it explode, you can click on it. If you don't, as you see there, I get hit for about 20. But we have 1.5 Ambrosias left, which is very nice panic buttons, so we're not worried about it. Health nice and high, because you can get stacked out by a rock, an attack, and a lightning all at the same time. So. And there we go. That is a 400 level raid completed, or a 350, or whatever. 350s, the lightning doesn't pop as fast. And we're going to go ahead and walk into the loot room. Is it a purple chest? Make sure you drink an ambrosia if you didn't, and of course it is a white chest, as always. Go ahead and look at the loot. That's okay loot. It's not bad. If you drink an ambrosia before you go out of the raid, it does give you 12 minutes of antidote, or anti-poison, which can carry over in your next raid. And that's pretty much what you should expect from a raid with the clan. If you have any questions, you can always at me in the Discord or look at some of our other guides in the Discord. Other than that, hope you guys enjoy the video and happy raiding.